dear me. Anyway, yeah, you're quite right. It's a very peculiar scenario, and I don't quite understand it. I actually have no criticism of the guys who went down there. Really, I can't imagine how difficult it must be to operate. And the first thing I thought when they said about how they were going to get the equipment on board using on land using the Zodiacs was, I don't know whether you remember when we retook South Georgia in '82, but the guys there were using Zodiacs. I think they were Exeter or one of the destroyers. Anyway, they were sent in. The SAS was sent in, and the engines failed on them, and they nearly floated round the southeast side of South Georgia off into the Southern Ocean, never to be seen again. They just managed to row their way onto land, and that was because of katabatic winds and horrendous high seas and rough weather and all that kind of stuff, which is it's the same sort of weather and terrain and what have you that you're dealing with round on Bouvet as well. And I think anybody who's brave enough to go to a place as remote as that and to try and do what they did, albeit that maybe they were not properly equipped, or when you think how much money they spent, how much more money would they have to spend to have a better chance? The mind boggles in this day and age, but good on them. They had a go at it, and they did get on there, and they did make some contacts, and it's just tough for the rest of us that we weren't able to make contact. But good luck to them, and I hope somebody has a go at it. But I think we're gonna sort of need to piggyback on some naval vessel that's going to be the support, that's got the kind of hardware and also probably the muscle power, enough men to get them set up there with the sort of stations they wanted to do on that expedition. Because as you say, 7 tons of gear, I think there was only about a dozen of them, wasn't there? 7 tons of gear to be humped up a glacier. No, I'm not doing that. I don't know about you. GM8OFQ, G2MV.
Yeah, okay, Tom. Well, the idiot filter's working very well, actually. I'm not getting any QRM at all at the moment. It's amazing. Technology nowadays, you can just flick a switch there and it completely suppresses any dickheads that may be on a frequency. Yeah, well, I agree with you entirely. I have no criticism per se of the guys who went down there. Looking at the videos that they posted, I mean, those conditions were horrendous, and it's amazing they managed to get as far as they did. I think they spent, was it a total of 8 days on the island, something like that. And they were very lucky not to have any serious accident. When you were looking at the guys trying to get the equipment off the Zodiacs, some of those waves were quite severe, and if they hadn't been attached to the lines, they could have easily been swept out. In those sort of temperatures, water temperatures, you don't last very long. Although they had dry suits, nevertheless, those currents are quite strong, and very easily you can get swept out. But anyway, yeah, well, hopefully somebody's got the resources or the contacts to find a suitable company or whatever to at least get the team and the equipment down there, and even if they just get offloaded onto the island for a couple of weeks and then disappear and then come back and pick them up, then I think they stand a much better chance of completing a successful de-expedition. Yeah, I was looking at the Facebook page for the Rockall de-expedition, and that again is quite a challenge. Again, I think the biggest problem is getting off the boat onto the island. It's basically a pinnacle poking out of the sea, and you have to have very calm conditions to get men and equipment off the boat. So I'm not too sure if they're using Zodiacs or whether they're using ribs. I think Zodiacs are just too small in those sort of sea conditions, and you need something a little bit more sturdy and with some pretty powerful outboard motors. But I wish those guys good luck, and hopefully they're not too far away from us here, so we should be in a good position at least to get one contact with them on 40 meters or one of the other low bands. So there we go. Anyway, as I say, the conditions are very good at the moment, and we're missing out at the moment, not having an HF antenna up on the tower for a couple of days. I'm looking at the DX cluster here, and all sorts of DX being spotted. Do you operate data at all, Tom? A couple of years ago, I had a data set up here. It was just the Icon 7000, just running sort of low power, 50 watts. But after a couple of months of playing with data, I just got bored with it, so I disconnected everything, and it's now in the bottom drawer. But I guess I probably would have stood more chance of getting a data contact with a Bouvet than trying on sideband. I did try on CW, but they were operating at 35 words a minute, and I think that's just a little bit beyond my capabilities. But certainly a lot of people managed to get data contacts with them. G2NV, GM8OFQ.
Yeah, okay, 35 words a minute. Well, I think that's, QRS, please. Yeah, no, I don't do data. I have to say, it doesn't do much to me. The FT8 thing leaves me cold. No disrespect, if you want to do it, but it's not really for me. Anything to do with computers, they despise me, computers, for making it their business to thwart my efforts, so no. But I guess the Rockall, do you know what the call sign is for the Rockall expedition, Jeff? Over?
I don't. No, I don't offhand, Tom. But I'll have a look at the Facebook page.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yes, well, that'll be a good one, I dare say. And as you say, for the likes of us, it should be pretty easy to get them on many bands, really, I would have thought. But I know it isn't very often activated. In fact, I'm not sure when the last time was. Certainly, I don't think while I've been licensed this last sort of 8 years or so. But it's nice that people make the effort to go off and do these things. And as you say, with at least with the Rockall type of, even things like Scarborough Reef and all that sort of stuff, they're not actually that far from civilization, which means that if they need help or if God forbid anything was to go wrong, they're not out on a limb, especially, even though they might be in a place that's probably tricky to operate or get set up and what have you. At least help isn't that far away, is it? But the Bouvet thing is a whole different league, really, and let's hope that gets somebody to support it, and they get back on it eventually. But there are de-expeditions going on. The previous couple of years, obviously with COVID and everything else, it's been very thin pickings for us avid DX chasers, Jeff. GM8OFQ, G2NV.
G2NV, GM8OFQ. Yeah, well, the Rockall expedition is actually getting support from the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines. So I suspect they're using substantial logistical equipment, and I wouldn't imagine they'd have a big problem in getting onto the island. They don't actually say what vessel they're using from the Royal Navy, but if it's something with a helicopter, then it makes the job much easier. Mind you, having said that, of course, there's not a lot of space on the island, if you can call it an island. I think it's got an IOTA number, but it's basically a pinnacle of a rock sticking out of the Atlantic Ocean, and I presume they're operating right from the very top. And looking at the pictures of it, it doesn't look very flat either. So I think it really is a question of them being strapped down with harnesses and ropes onto the rocks. That's going to be quite an achievement. I think it has been activated before. I've never worked it, but I believe it has been activated previously. Not too sure by who, but certainly the crew is very experienced anyway. Cam Cameron, who I believe is the leader, has a lot of experience in these sort of activities. And I'm pretty sure it will be a complete success. Not entirely sure how long they're staying on the rock for. I think it's a week. But anyway, it's worth a look at the Facebook page if you've got Facebook, or just Google it, and all the information is there. But it doesn't actually say what call sign they're using. Mike 0 Uniform Kilo India, maybe? I'm not too sure. Yeah, no, I don't think that's right. But anyway, it's happening in, let me see, 3 months' time. So I think it's June. They're planning on getting onto the rock. So yeah, we'll definitely listen out for them, and I'm pretty sure we won't have too much of a problem to get a contact with them. I think the pile-ups are going to be quite horrendous. So anyway, okay, Tom. I'm just keeping an eye on the time here. We're another 5 minutes, and I'll probably get a tap on the shoulder here to go and grab a bite to eat. But let me fire it back to you there, and whilst you're talking, I'll have a quick run down the page here and see if I can find the call sign. G2NV, GM8OFQ.
Yeah, no, you've got it. Mike 0 Uniform Kilo India is correct, and they've got a QRZ page set up, and I'm looking at the info on that, and also on DX World as well, where there's quite a lot of info it appears already. So yeah, very good. Well, that'll be nice. It's good to have something that's happening with I should imagine very good chances of success. As far as I know, and I'm sure I've seen a video on YouTube about this, which was linked from some other info about it, but I suspect that it was service personnel, might have been Royal Navy or Marines, but they activated it in I think it was about the 70s, and it was all a flag flying exercise to make sure that the Russians didn't land on it or something like that. I think they sent a couple of booties up, stuck the white ensign up, and then worked a radio station on there for about a week. Jeff, over.
All right, yeah, I do recall that. Now you mention it, Tom. Yeah, and I think they're going out end of May into June this year. So yeah, just about 3 months to go before they get off. But yes, from the sounds of it, they're very well organised. They've obviously got all the equipment to complete the expedition. So I don't have any doubts that it's going to be a great success. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for the guys anyway. Very good. Okay, Tom, I'll leave it with you. I'll go and grab a bite to eat, and then we'll see how things are outside this afternoon. But looking at the weather, it doesn't look very promising, so we'll probably be back on the radio later on. G2NV, GM8OFQ.
Yeah, Yeah, okay. Always a pleasure. Well, I think I'm going to head up to 10 metres shortly, but anyway, we'll catch you very soon, Jeff. Only we've worked on 10, so if you do hear me, give me a call, and vice versa, and that'll be yet another band. But anyway, sounding good, mate. Have a good afternoon, 7-3, and thanks for the chat, as always. Golf Mike 8, Oscar Fox, Quebec, Golf 2, November, Victor, 7-3.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Tom. We'll see you a little bit later. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's not my frequency, but if Jeff has cleared, there's a Foxtrot station. Okay, I'm not getting an awful lot from you at the moment. Foxtrot stroke Mike 0, and I haven't got anything more. Give me the suffix again. Good afternoon to you. Name is Tom, Tango Oscar Mike, and you're about a 4x4, 44. I'm about 10 miles south of the city of Leicester, near the little town of Lut.